Dear learners, welcome to this session, and in this session we will be discussing certain case studies of NGOs in rural development. We have discussed the concept of rural development, and we will specifically discuss the role of NGOs. We have discussed the role of NGOs in rural development. We have seen two different types of concepts, and we have seen that NGOs, they act as testing agencies, they act as networkers, they act as innovators, they have an advocacy role to play, they act as empowerment agents, etc. Now we will see certain case studies related to these roles of NGOs, and we will try to find out that how the NGOs, they help a community at large. Now one thing is very important. In the first case, I would be discussing a concept of CAPART, and though recently, maybe 2 months back, this organization has been dissolved and has been merged with other organization, but we can just see the history of CAPART and how it worked towards the upliftment of the rural masses. So CAPART, it was developed with an idea that there was a need for an organization which would be able to coordinate and catalyze the development work of voluntary agencies in the countries. It's kind of a networking NGO. And this was, the idea was to ensure that there is a smooth flow of benefits to the underprivileged and socio-economically weaker sections of society. So Government of India in September 1986 tried to set up the Council for Advancement of People's Action and Rural Technology, and we call it, the short form is CAPART, a registered society, and was formulated under the aegis of the Department of Rural Development, and it was done by merging two autonomous bodies, which was People's Action for Development of India, that is PADI, and the Council for Advancement of Rural Technology, that is CART. So initially when the concept was started, that concept also started with the merger, and as we see it now, it has been merged into some other organization. So if you see the working of CAPART, you will find that it has certain objectives which we will be discussing later also, but the main objective is to improve the quality of life in the rural areas, specifically for the poor and the socially disadvantaged sections of the society. Who are the focus group or the target group for CAPART? They are the people below the poverty line, people belonging to the scheduled castes and tribes, bonded labor, women, and people with disabilities. CAPART provides the economic aid to the NGOs working in the fields of rural development, women and children development, rural water supply, rural sanitation, uplifting the socio-economic life of the people, higher level rural technological schemes, rehabilitation, etc. So these are the areas where CAPART provides the economic aid to the NGOs. We were discussing about the working of CAPART. So apart from providing economic assistance, it also provides the financial and resources support to the voluntary organization for conceptualizing, developing, and implementing a wide range of projects and development interventions. CAPART receives major funds from the Government of India, and there is also partnership with international donors to facilitate the routing of funds to voluntary organizations working for rural development. Now coming to the objectives part of the detailed objective parts, we can say that CAPART has been set up to encourage, promote, and assist voluntary action for the implementation of projects intending enhancement of rural prosperity, to strengthen and promote voluntary efforts in rural development with specific focus on injecting new technological inputs. Injecting means like giving the inputs of new technologies, to act as catalysts for the development of technology appropriate for the rural areas, trying to promote, plan, undertake, development, maintain and support certain projects and schemes which are specifically aimed at all-round development, creation of employment opportunities, promoting self-reliance, generating awareness, organizing and improving the quality of life of the people in rural areas through the voluntary action. So, these are the objectives on which the CAPART was based. Recently, this is from the Economic Times, and recently, in fact it is today's news itself, that the resolution of the Council for Advancement of People's Action in Rural Technology as a society has been notified by the Rural Development Ministry, and it has now been merged with the National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj with effect from May 1st, 2020. Now coming to another development agency, that is Mysore Resettlement and Development Agency, MIRADA, which basically works for microcredit initiatives and sustainable development in southern states of India. This was established in 1968. It is quite an old organization, and from 68 to 78 it concerned itself with the resettlement of around 15,000 Tibetan refugees with the Indian government. Like it's a huge sum way back in the 60s and the 70s. After 78, MIRADA shifted its focus to working with the poor in the districts of Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu through its 14 active projects, and that was way back in 78. Presently it is working in other areas as well. These are the goals or the objectives of MIRADA. First one is to foster a process of organizing change in favor of the rural poor in a way in which this process can be sustained through the efforts of the voluntary organizations. To build and manage appropriate and innovative local level institutions which are rooted in values of justice, equity, mutual support, and which can ensure sustainable livelihoods. To support small NGOs and foster the emergence of new NGOs working in the rural areas. To promote networking amongst the people's institutions and among NGOs. These are the basic area of work of MIRADA. It started with resettlement of certain community. Now it has diversified itself, providing rural credit system, organizing for women empowerment, managing micro watershed, forestry resettlement is of course there because they started with it, and in collaboration with the Government of India, MIRADA has supported upgrading projects in a number of areas, including the provision of potable water and sanitation facilities and housing in the rural settlements. It has also promoted self-help groups in different project areas spread over 3 states in India, and this part we have discussed in SHGs. Pradhan, which is the Professional Assistance for Development Action, this is another organization, and it is an NGO in India which conducts a variety of operations in number of states. It was established in 83. We are talking about the old organizations, and later on we will see the new organizations also. It was established through the efforts of several university education rural development practitioners and the Delhi office of the Ford Foundation, which is an international NGO. It currently works in selected villages. The updates are there on their website. So, this data was captured from the study material, but the data may have changed to a certain extent, which because every now and then there are certain villages become developed and they are removed from the list. So, this is the basic idea that they are working in many districts through small teams based in the fields. Pradhan's rural development activities includes programs in natural resource management, income producing micro enterprises, creating and maintaining self-help groups for savings, microcredit and self-employment. It is involved in the Government of Tamil Nadu program to investigate and address the high levels of female infanticide in the rural areas. These are the social issues which it covers. The initial approach is as a catalyst to identify young development professionals with relevant managerial, organizational and technical skills, to train them in the practical aspects of rural development and with personnel and professional support, to place individuals in other NGOs with which they would work to improve the agency's capacities to conduct their work. It receives the financial support from several Indian and foreign organizations, and it addresses issues of livelihood. It works to affect the lives of poor people immediately and to reduce the vulnerability of the poor to outside coercive forces. It has a powerful intervention to break the cycle of poverty. Now coming to some new NGOs, these were the old NGOs which are directly or indirectly related with the government, and these are the organizations. We will just see some of the organizations or the NGOs which are working in different areas of rural development. Talking about Sanjeevani, what they do? They ensure empowerment of women, right to education for children, health care for women and children, opportunities for underprivileged women and children. So, these are the areas basically they work for, and they are based in Uttarakhand, where they directly deal with the women empowerment. These are certain projects which are being taken by Sanjeevani. These are related to organic farming, green livelihood, Vidya Gyan or Vidya Param Aishwaryam in cooperation with Shiv Nadar Foundation, SBI Gram Seva for linking individuals with banks in Uttarakhand, the Hunger Project, maximizing the mountain agriculture project, NABARD Financial Literacy Program. Now, if you see the categories on which Sanjeevani is working, you would find they are acting as innovators, they are acting as testing agencies, they are acting as networking organizations. In innovators, they are dealing with organic farming or green livelihood. Then in the education sector, they are empowering, they are acting as empowerment agents, like they are associated with Shiv Nadar Foundation for providing education to the rural poor. They have the financial inclusion programs also, and they are linked with SBI Gram Seva, so that the rural poor of Uttarakhand, they are included and they have their separate bank accounts. Since Uttarakhand is a picturesque location and is on mountains, so they are also working on the mountain agricultural project, because how to produce the agricultural goods in the mountains, and of course the financial literacy program is already there. So, this is the basic idea about Sanjeevani. Coming to another organization or the NGO, this is in the form of foundation. Now, if you see, we discussed the formation of NGOs and types of NGOs, in which we discussed the society, the foundation, the charitable organizations, etc. So, here different categories of organizations are being taken up. Now, this foundation, as the name suggests, is related to an individual's name. And what they do, the basic idea of Sehgal Foundation is to strengthen the community development process, creating social, economic and environmental changes in the rural areas, trying to ensure the security, the dignity and the prosperity to rural people. They basically work in Rajasthan, Haryana and Bihar. So, these are the areas they try to cover. Now, let us see what are the activities of Sehgal Foundation. And again, if you see, just like Sanjeevani, they are also working as networkers, as innovators, as advocacy organizations. So, if you see that role of NGOs, it is not defined to one particular case. If it is like a testing agency, it can be a networking agency also. So, there are different roles of an NGO, and which we can see from certain case studies which is being provided to you. Now, you can go to their websites and just try to look what all other activities they do, and the detailed activity is available on their websites. Sehgal Foundation is very good for rural governance, and Suhasan Abhi is one of the names of the governance programs which it has undertaken, with the project which it has undertaken. Of course, water management like community led water projects it has taken up. The agricultural projects related to sustainable farming methods have been taken up, and then there is a community media, rural research projects also are there. Adoption of new innovative technologies for water management and agricultural activities. See here, they act as innovators. And of course, the development of schools, like building the school buildings, the infrastructure, developing the infrastructure of schools, etc., is being done by this foundation. Now coming to another foundation, which is the Swadesh Foundation. They are into empowering people in rural areas with modern technologies and values, and they initiate sustainable development with high standards of corporate governance. Development of rural area by engaging urban India for creating permanent and irreversible changes, and they are working in or located in Maharashtra. And if you see, they are tying up with the urban India to develop the rural India, and that this is the beauty of this foundation, and as the name suggests, it is more indigenous in nature, where it is trying to equip or provide the infrastructural facilities or the modern technology values to the community associated with them, or to the stakeholders of this foundation through the urban India. Now, what are the projects or activities they have undertaken? These are the list of activities. The education part is there. This is one of the major projects they have taken up, and this is related to the mindset change, enabling environment, future ready kind of work environment they are providing. Of course, water and sanitation is there. Household drinking water, that is potable water, and sanitation is being provided. Irrigation, school water and sanitation. They are working on health and nutrition, where pediatric cardiac care, vision care, anemia alleviation, children with special needs. So, they are dealing with different kinds of activities. And in the economic front, they are they have taken up a project on the farm program, off the farm program and non-farm programs for the upliftment of the rural poor. They are categorically working on COVID-19 relief work specifically, but if you see the other organizations, each and every NGO, they are now working for COVID-19 relief work also. Now, this organization is one of the most popular organizations and quite old organization, that is the SARDA, that is Social Action for Rural Development. They are into alleviating poverty, sustainable development through village management, achieving sustainable development goals. This is very important, SDGs. And if you go to the internet, in the United Nations program, United Nations website, if you just type SDGs, you will find the whole set of SDGs available, because they have modified the Millennium Development Goals to SDGs. Like every 15 years they change the goals. So, from MDGs they have moved into SDGs and they are working on SDGs now. So, that is what is the aim of Social Action for Rural Development, and it is empowering the women also. It is promoting effective utilization of environmental resources. They are working with in Jharkhand, Bihar, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, and if you look at these states, you will find that most of the states, they are having tribal populations. So, they are basically working with them. These are some of the projects which they have taken up, like sustainable watershed development, integrated tribal development programs, artisans upliftment programs, umbrella programs for natural resource management, NRLM, Manrega's CFT convergence programs, etc. So, they have tied up with the government for certain schemes also. Now this is another foundation which is located in which is working in Bengaluru and Haryana, both places. It is Sitaram Jindal Foundation, and they are working with the social initiatives for upliftment of the rural poor, uplifting school education and healthcare, providing safe drinking water, promoting social development and empowering the women and young girls. These are some of the projects they have undertaken, like constructing these school buildings, drinking water projects, construction of colleges, construction of bore wells for drinking water, setting up a vocational training institute for women which will help them to develop a certain skill sets and provide them kind of employment opportunities. So these are some of the case studies which we have discussed. Apart from this, and specifically based in India, but apart from this there are number of cases, small, big, number of cases. It is up to you. So you can just surf the net and you can just try to find out what kind of rural development work the NGOs they are doing. So to summarize, these case studies showcase the role of NGOs in rural development, and the basic areas where they work is empowerment, education, health, agriculture, wildlife, etc. So this was all about the NGOs and rural development. Hope you enjoyed learning the whole concept and idea. Your feedbacks are always welcome. Thank you so much.